you feel about? All right, so before we actually get started, how do you feel about Kanye for real? Is he Chicago legendary status? He's on the Mount Rushmore of Chicago.
I don't even. So I think Kanye West is big. He's from Chicago, but to me, he's bigger than Chicago. Like I'm a fan of Kanye West. I'm a fan of anybody that can elevate themselves out of their circumstances just off sheer will and mental fortitude. Like,
but he's I think the best. He's the best market manipulator in entertainment of all time. He knows, like you were saying, he knows how to kind of grab you, and he uses his ex-wife and his kids to do it.
But that's
the part
cool.
that throws me off.
But that's the same thing that's Floyd Mayweather. When it's time to fight, you got to draw up some interest. Give me your marketing dollars. I'm going to make this fight interesting. But I'm gonna talk shit.
Right.
I'm gonna hop on HBO boxing, and I'm the 24 when they like training and stuff. You tune in because he talks shit the entire time leading up to the fight.
Right.
But when there's nothing going on, there's nothing going on.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the same. That's the formula that the rappers in my high school, they sold the 50 cents, the T.I., the Jay-Z. It's like, to make money, you have to stay relevant.
Mike, you straight from the south side. Mike, I'm just so happy to be here right now. Real Rap Podcast.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kids of all ages, we are back with a very special episode of the Real Rap Podcast. As a matter of fact, it's not even the Real Rap Podcast. This is the Real Rap Hustle Edition, Volume 1. I'm joined today by, in my eyes and in the eyes of many, the number one person on the Chicago stage when it comes to comedy, the number one person off the Chicago stage when it comes to comedy. That is going to be Calvin Evans and my man James Webb. Let's just go ahead and get into it real quick. First and foremost, we have Calvin Evans, Born, out now on all streaming platforms. Make sure you go get that. I haven't got it yet, but at the same token, he also has the crib from New Era clothing lines, and he didn't bring me any merch.
I left him in the car. I got you.
It sounds like complete horseshit. But also, you can see this man on Chicago PD. You can see him on Southside, Shameless, just to name a few. He has other comedy specials out. He's burning up the stage. You guys already know him. If you don't, you're going to get to know him. To my right, I have James Webb. First time I've even heard about this man, I had another comic that I respect to the utmost. Shout out Mo Good. Told me that James Webb is not in comedy, but he has everything to do with comedy. If you are at Zany's world-renowned comedy stage, you're already a fan of this man. If you're looking at any special that's been shot that's worth it in the Chicago comedy scene, you're already a fan of this man. He's about to go out to New York.
Hey.
Start burning things down out there. He just shot a special for Pat Tomasulo. He's running 28 other podcasts. And guess what, guys? He's your boss, and you didn't put him on your podcast. What's wrong with you? I am talking about, again, Calvin Evans and my man James Webb. If you wouldn't mind letting them know where you from, how long you been in the comedy game, and what you got going on, sir.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, please.
This is actually my 20th year in entertainment as a whole. I started out a wee lad of 16 in Wheaton, Illinois.
Okay.
Not a great place to be a fucking kid. There's nothing to do. But yeah, I worked at the Wheaton Grand Theater for a while. It was like one of my first real jobs, and kind of just I fell in love with like live entertainment. And in tandem with that, I've loved stand up all my fucking life. Me and my dad would always watch Comedy Central Presents, Premium Blend, and all that. So that kind of informed my path forward. And then when I moved to the city, I worked at do you guys remember the Edge Comedy Club?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. So I was the
church. What was the church?
City Church. Yeah. Chicago Center for the Performing Arts. And there was it was a great fucking space. I miss that place so much. There was so much going on at once all the time. I was the tech director, box office manager, kind of, man of many hats there. Until City Church.
Were you doing like theater and all that stuff?
No, not really. I mean, I was like doing I did stagehand stuff and tech stuff for some of the shows that would come through, but mostly I was just kind of running like operations in the building. And then I met like everyone I know in comedy there, like the Danny Callises and Keith Pazel, Todd Massey, Ken Whitskill. They're all off doing their own thing now, but they hired me to produce an indie show called Stand Up, which is in its 10th year this year.
Nice.
Which is I need to just let die. I brought it back to life so many fucking times.
Have you seen the flyer for stand up
Man,
right now? The people that's on there?
No, but I remember back in the day when y'all were doing it at Crocodile.
Croc, yeah.
And I remember like when you got your stand up, your flyer, like for you when you got the headline of the show, man, that was always like the
Really?
the greatest thing. Like everybody got like cool. Like when y'all did the flyers, it was like real good Photoshop. Like and they made it very specific to you. So when you got it, it was just like, oh shit, this is my.
Check out James Webb Facebook timeline. He has his 10-year challenge where he posts like it's like 30 something odd flyers, and they are
those were I didn't make all. Those were the albums and specials I produced. Just a few of them anyway that I could remember over the last 10 years. But yeah, that. Calvin, that means a lot, dude. Like I worked so hard on all those flyers, bro.
I never forget mine. When you gave me mine, it was like my headshot, and then it was like microphone, like
the mic head on top.
So it was like half man, half microphone. Yeah. It was like, man, that shit was like, oh man, like it meant something. It was like
I'm glad you guys liked it, dude. We so when we did stand up for the first time, that was back 2012. There's like Laugh Factory is brand new. There's Zany's is Bert Haas Central. No shade to Bert, but like it wasn't the community hub that it is now. And there was like no other stuff going on. Like CYSK was a baby. Lincoln Lodge was still popping. But there was like nothing going on in the cities. Oh yeah, I mean Lincoln Lodge has been around for what is it, like 25 years? Something crazy. It's the oldest indie. Yes, it's Abraham himself started.
Doing comedy in top.
It's Chicago has a great brag in that Lincoln Lodge is I think it's the longest running independent stand-up comedy thing in the world.
Wow,
which is awesome. But there were so few options. I think Riot Comedy was going on then too, but that was pretty much it. You had like 3 places to do stand-up outside of the brand new Laugh Factory, which was still finding their feet. So that's why Keith, Todd, and Ken came to me and they were like, let's start a fucking showcase. There's nothing to do. And like, so part of that process was like, how do we make this show important? How do we make people who do the show feel like they're doing something real, Okay. And one of those things, I think it was one of Kenny's friends. I can't remember his name, but Ken's friend did the logo, the Microphone Man logo, iconic, stolen so many times by so many shows across the country, which I take pride in. But he came up with that logo, and then one of the boys pitched to me, we need to do a new poster for every show, just to make every show special. So then I kind of, and through that process, we were like, okay, well, how do we determine who's going to be on the poster? Like, who's the star of the poster? And like, let's do a headliner show. Because no one was doing headliner shows. It was all showcase shit.
That was that's something that wasn't, you don't get to headline in Chicago. Like when I started out, it was like, you got to do like 15 minutes. Like you just close the show out, but to be able to do 30, 45 minutes.
How do you get better as a comic if you can't fucking stretch your legs? So, we all, I can't remember whose idea it was initially, but the group decided, let's do a headliner show. And yeah, from there we were like, okay, cool. We got the poster, we got the headliners. We're different, we're new, we're exciting. The show was honestly like it was the best of times, dude. For like the first 3 years of that show was, oh my God. Like we've had you on a number of times. We had, the Megan Galeys and the Drew Michaels and like all these people who came through Chicago who are now doing really cool shit. Hannibal came by a number of times. But it was just, we wanted to do something that made people in Chicago feel important because, so many people come through here and see Chicago as like, I'm going to get good and fuck off to New York or fuck off to LA. And it's like, I used to discourage people from leaving.
Until you decided that you were going to New York.
No, shut the fuck up. I'm not. I don't know what camera to look at. I'm not going anywhere. Nothing is decided. I'm allowed
to each camera.
I am allowed to talk to people. Okay, fuck off, dude. Nothing is written yet. But I've only been to New York twice. And it's, you want to talk about intoxication, baby. That is one of the coolest fucking places on earth, especially for comedy. But that's besides the point. I preached ad nauseum, on not knowing what was out there because I've only been here, for people not to leave because I wanted people. You have all these talent. I thank God every day that Calvin chooses to live here.
Oh man, I appreciate that, man.
As a matter of fact, I want to get to the story about how y'all met. But first, Calvin, why don't you let the people know how long you been in the game, what you got going on? Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Man, I ain't got nothing going on.
I think it too.
No, I started in Chicago comedy scene in 2010. So I started doing comedy in college at the University of Illinois. Didn't know what I was doing. Somebody told me I was funny, and I just started hosting shows, and I was just a funny guy. Like I never was like a class clown, but if I'm comfortable around people, I start just being myself. I was always good at like, I saw something, let me make this thing funny. Somebody fell down, somebody said something, let's talk about this thing. But never in my mind it was always like, this is cool, but I know that it's only working because these people know me. Like I know I'm funny, but I haven't stepped in front of.
To practice that 0 to 60.
Right. So I came back to Chicago in 2010. And I just hit the ground running. I did the first thing I did, because up until that point I would do comedy competitions and I would always lose, and I'd be like, damn. So I told myself in like 2000, I was like, I'm not doing no more comedy competitions. Moved back to Chicago. Zanies and WGN do a contest called Chicago's Next Big Comic. I do it. I win. And then that was like, for me, that was like the cement for me. Like, all right, I made the right decision to quit my job and come home and do comedy. And then after that, it was like, for me, like being in Chicago, like Chicago to me is like, it's a comedy mecca. You got, Second City, all the great comics that come from here. So it's like, we right in the center of the country. I was like, I have to do everything Chicago has to offer. So I went through the Second Cities, and I was like, I have to work every club and just work on my way up in, all the clubs. And then, the stuff that come with that. And
how far into your the beginning of your comedy journey did you hit that first bomb, that earth-shattering, like mind-numbing, soul-cleaving bomb, where it was like you like looking for lint on your shirt? Like,
no, you know what? I can't. I have bombed. I'm not gonna say I never bombed. I have bombed, but I think I learned quickly that the bombing, and this any comic watching this, bombing is relinquishing your control of the show to the audience. The moment you tell a joke and it don't work, like now as I've been doing it, in Chicago, I've been doing comedy for 12 years solid.
Right. So
the moment that something doesn't work, as a new comic, it's like, all right, I have to get a laugh out of them to make me feel better. In order, anybody got kids? Okay, nobody. All right, anybody? It's like that's when they start.
Pay attention.
You start chasing a laugh, and that's when it's like, okay, you're slowly, and they're like, oh, now you trying to make us laugh.
And they're never going to give it back to you.
Do you see what I'm saying? That's when you relinquish control. So once I realized that, because it's been times like early on, like the first year or two in comedy, like I would go on stage and it'd be like shit shows and I'd be up last and I'd be like, I remember the first time I got off stage because I was bombing, it used to be a club called the Checkerboard in Hyde Park.
Okay.
And I remember going up there and I was like bombing, and then I was just like, I still had time left and I was like, all right, y'all, I'm out. And I left, and I remember feeling bad. Like, in my head, it was like, I gave in. Like, I quit. So anytime now, after that, if I did a show where it's like, oh, you closing out, and the crowd was shit, and I was supposed to do 30, I'm going to stay on stage for an hour. I don't give a fuck how bad it's going, because it's like, I'll find a space if I keep working through it and I'll find a laugh. I'll be able to turn these motherfuckers somehow. But I never just walk off stage like, all right, y'all won, I'm out. It's like, no, I'm not giving y'all that.
And I've never even really seen you like turn on the audience and like start singling somebody out and be like, I'm going to make this about you and talk about your shoes and nothing like that. So you just internalize it and be like, you know what?
It's on me, because I feel like if you look at comedy as a profession, if you take it seriously, it's like, and I remember reading Bernie Mac's book, his last autobiography before he died, and he was like, people don't pay money and get dressed up to go get shitted on in a comedy club.
Straight up.
Like, so why would I be like, hey, you look at this? If somebody yells some shit out or they interrupting the show, I'll fuck with them. But even when I fuck with people when I'm hosting or I'm on stage, it's always in a way that they can laugh with me, even if I fuck with them. Oh, you do that? Oh man, that's stupid. And then it's just like, I was like, no, I'm just fucking with you. It's like, but I never want to alienate the crowd that paid money, put clothes on, and then sat there and was like, oh, we're listening to what you got to say. We came for so no, I don't. I take comedy serious to the point where it's just like, no, I have to give people a show. And
how did you two guys end up meeting initially?
You want to take this? Because we kind of, I'll intro it, and then because you came up with the idea. So in 2020, pandemic, everything sucks, world is fucked, no comedy. And Calvin approached me in a DM about an idea he had for Zanies. You want to tell him? You want to tell everybody about it?
Yeah.
First, what made you approach him?
Brian Morton.
It's a fucking
Brian
man,
Morton.
dude.
So
Brian Morton, dude.
Man, Brian Morton, man. If you watching this, if man,
Thank you for everything.
I don't know anybody that has anything to do with comedy that gives a fuck more about comedy than Brian Morton. Like even
Shout
when
out Brian Morton.
I never when he was just working the door at Zany's and he would watch the shows, he would come to me and be like, man, you should. He's like, man, you gotta get on Twitter, you gotta get on Instagram, you gotta really like. He always gave me advice,
okay.
and it's not, and it's never because I didn't respect him. It was just because I was so focused on just being a good stand up. But he always gave me advice outside of comedy to grow my fan base, to grow my comedy, man. And when he started working at Zany's in 2020, that was the best shit in the world because when he as soon as he got in, the floodgates opened. It was just like all these new voices, new comics that never.
It was like the Laugh Factory because he came from Laugh Factory.
Right.
He brought that energy to Zany's, which was sorely missed by the community. I think for 40 years, dude. Like, don't get me wrong, Zany's is and was and always will be an institution, a legendary club. But what Brian did for that club is
in a short period of time.
He was only there for like 7 months, and then he moved to New York. So
he got offered a job.
Right.
He got offered a job to run multiple comedy clubs, like operations. Like
well deserved.
You see what I'm saying? And I'm like,
Brian Morton sent you his way. You hit his line.
Right. I'm sorry, we got too far off. He was like, and back to the story.
TikTok.
No. So Brian. So I had an idea for a show at the time the pandemic was going on. Chicago had opened up, and then it started shutting back down around like November, December. And I was living in LA. I was miserable living in LA. LA was like shut completely down. Nothing was going on at all. And I felt like I had came back to Chicago, produced 2 shows. They went well, but then I realized like the pandemic, this shit ain't going nowhere. And I really want to be doing comedy. And Lori Lightfoot was like, all over the place, like we're shutting down and mask and stay home, all that stay at home order shit. So I was like, I want to partner with a comedy club. I want to turn the club into a studio, stream live comedy out. I want to make this a weekly show. Every week you would tune in.
Powerful.
It would be $5. Like the families gather around and you get to see live comedy, almost like a Def Jam type situation where people could like tune in and be like, all right, I'm sitting at home, but at least I know on Friday or Saturday I got something to look forward to. Brian sends me to James and I'm like, James, are you capable of doing this? And he like, hell yeah, let's do it.
I basically built my podcast studio in Zany's. This was at a time too, like remember Zoom shows? Weren't those fun? Wasn't that a great fucking time for everyone?
Time of my life.
I'm a massive Zoom show.
You are. You turned, and that's what this was. This was like the ultimate Zoom show because we had a TV with like the VIP tickets, right? You could buy a more expensive ticket to be part of the show. We pipe the laughs into the speaker so it sounds like people are in there.
All right, so that is ingenious.
Like we wanted to make
the Zoom shows without any laughs, just looking at silent faces.
Right. Yeah. So, but you got to see their faces on the TV. You got the laughs in a room, and it was as close to normal as you could get. I think it worked really well.
Yeah,
I was very happy with how it turned out.
I was because my initially I just wanted to do it. I think we were supposed to do it like in November or something like that. And it was like, all right, let's just do New Year's Eve. And at that point, I got nervous, like, oh shit, this is
a show now,
like untested. Like this shit has to work. And that shit was, when I say phenomenal, man. Like
we all of us nailed it. Every single person on the show fucking nailed it and proved the concept. Like this, I don't know if you guys are wrestling fans at all, but like back when the pandemic affected everybody, and WWE was doing like the same kind of shit, and it was working. Like they would put screens in the stands and all that shit, and it fucking worked. That show, that one night, dude, proved how resilient and innovative Chicago is when it comes to the industry. That's why I don't want to fucking leave.
So that brings me to one of my first questions so all that to say this, looking at what the pandemic did, shut the whole country down. At the time it was a crisis, right? Did the pandemic ultimately help or hurt comedy? Because you look at it, it basically stripped you guys butt naked and made you just rely on like the Rambo knife and 2 acorns and it was like go out there and survive. So looking back at what that did the pandemic ultimately help or hurt?
I mean, I look at the results. I think it, through crisis comes pain, and through pain comes learning, and from learning come new things. And from the ashes, a phoenix will rise. Or whatever fucking metaphor you want. Diamonds, you make diamonds. You got to crush whatever. But that taking something away from somebody is the ultimate test of that person's mettle. And the world was stripped of everything, and we had to. I wasn't just going to fucking sit there. Calvin wasn't just going to fucking sit there. It really proved how innovative and how great Chicago people are. You look at Greg Bartusiak and Johnny Olive Oil, or Johnny Cosmo, whatever the fuck his name is now. They did out in the open mic. An open mic in the open air where there are no restrictions on social distancing or anything like that.
Right.
And it was a fucking hit. Like, it was packed every week in Humboldt Park. People were coming out. You saw so many people innovating, and you still see those things. The cameras at Zany's. Now they hired me to install a camera system.
Right.
Like, the pandemic was the best fucking thing to ever happen to entertainment.
Shout out pandemic.
Hands down. Thank you, China, dude.
As a matter of fact, around that same time, you would shot a comedy special outside.
Yeah. So I'm gonna backtrack a few months. So to talk about the pandemic for me, when it first hit, like that first 2 months, like it was like it was depressing because the thing that I had put up until that point 10 years of my life into, now it wasn't important. Nobody cared about it. Look, we're in a place of crisis. If I never go back to work, I have 10 years of no work experience. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was, I was like literally depressed. I had a bunch of things coming up on the horizon. I had my late night set. All this stuff was like about to happen, about to sell
off all your sneakers.
No,
Didn't you shoot that set too? You shot it like you were the last person on Conan, right?
Yeah, I was. So, but the reason that the producer made that decision in September, and he was like, "Hey, man, we just want to try something different." Because I think late night, what is his name?
Jimmy Kimmel?
No, the other one.
The Conan.
Jimmy Fallon. Yeah, Fallon. They were doing pre-recorded sets like in a theater.
Okay.
So they I guess they took that idea and tried it. But at that point, I was like depressed, and I was like, you know what? I'm not making no fucking money. I'm living in LA. I'm like literally depressed.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck it. I was kind of despising people that were just hopping on live. Like, I'm gonna just do comedy shows, and hey, we're gonna bring this person in. Because it was like, to me, I was like, man, it's like y'all too thirsty. Like, relax, let it sink in. But once it sunk in, I was like, I need to be on stage. So I started going live. Like, I set up a camera, little backdrop, and it was called the Dirty 30. So I would do untested material. I would do 30 minutes, and then I would like interact with people and they would donate money to everybody that donated. Thank you so much, because a lot of those jokes and ideas that I had during the pandemic and all the social injustice shit that was going around George Floyd, that shit ended up on my special. So when I got the call for a special, I was like, I got it.
Hell yeah,
They was like,
dude.
do you have? I'm like, and my agents was like, we don't want you to burn. I was like, I have a whole new 30 minutes sprinkled with some old stuff that I haven't done. Hell yeah, I'm doing this shit. And the best thing that came out of the pandemic for me was like you said, the innovation, the ingenuity to be like, how can I create in a vacuum where it's like we're void of person to person contact, or that thing that we crave in actual live performance. And the other thing is, I'm glad a lot of people stopped doing comedy. That's another thing that, because it was like
straight up.
Because
it definitely shook a lot of fleas off.
Yeah.
Brought me back in the game, because it set everybody back to zero. I was like, I've been out of comedy for 5 years. If there's gonna be a time to hop back in, it's now.
Right. So it was like, to me, it was like, you think about all the people that were just fly by night comedians or didn't take the shit serious. It's like, I'm glad you didn't come back, because now that's stage time for somebody that really wants it, and that's really hungry about it. So I appreciate the pandemic for doing that.
Something that you both do in different aspects, which I highly respect. Take me to my next question. So I'm on your timeline. You used to do the notifications, hilarious. You steady whenever you go out of town and you're doing your out of town business. You're doing like a, hey, tune in to Channel Calvin and check out my check out this hotel, this piece of garbage ass trash ass hotel room in the middle of West Bubblefuck, Ohio. You really have like wood benches with sex stains on them and the whole nine. It's hilarious. Mind you, but it doesn't seem like you're necessarily, because I think at any point in time you can go out and get a blue check just off of being influential or whatever, right? I look at your timeline. you've got so much going on behind the camera, promoting podcasts in your studio space, promoting stand-up, promoting comedy specials that you shoot, and promoting other people's platforms. So both of you are very active in the social media space, but also private enough, like you're not inviting me into your entire life.
No.
You know what I mean? You're showing me your gym shoe collection. Right. You're showing me, the hotels that you're staying at, and you're promoting your platform. You're showing me other people's platforms. You're promoting other people for the most part, but also I'm not like in your living room, like here, I'm selling myself all the time. How important is social media to the profession of comedy and show business? Is it work and home life, or the merge of the two?
I mean, to me, I feel like social media replaced the business. It replaced the business card.
Yeah.
It's like it replaced the business card and the resume, because it's like, oh, here's my card, call me or go to my website. It's like, no, go to my social media. You'll see exactly what I do. You'll see how I do it, and if you want to contact me through that, you can use my social media. Like like today, I met a dude, and he was like, "Oh, what's your name, Calvin Evans?" And immediately hopped on YouTube and just, "Oh man, this video from 6 years ago." Like, damn, like,
gotcha.
You see what I'm saying? So like, social media is here to stay. Like, anybody dodging social media, you crazy.
Yeah. Where are you drawing the line between, all right, this is what I'm putting on Channel Calvin, and this is what I'm keeping?
So the way I do it is my stories, because they only last 24 hours. I don't really get personal into my life, because I mean, I don't ever want nobody that don't know me to feel like they know me. Like, to me, I feel like that's where people often cross the line, because you watch somebody's life so intensely through social media, because they share so much that you feel like you have a voice or opinion on how
invested in your life,
how they do things. Oh man, hey, you need to stop doing that. You like, I don't fucking know you. I don't, you know what I'm saying? So I never, whenever I did things, the notifications, the hotel reviews, those are things that I felt comfortable doing, but I never wanted to or want to turn my social media into something that I'm giving away people. I'm giving people a reason to be there. If you fuck with me, you fuck with me. You're not there because I'm giving you free content on a regular basis. It's just like, when I do post some shit, whether it's a clip, I hope you like it. I want it to be funny, that's why I'm posting it. But I'm not like every day waking up like, all right,
it's a welcome mat. It's not the key to the door.
Yeah, let's get these people a show. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And now it's just like, oh, you know what? I stopped following you because you stopped posting those videos. It's just like, well, you wasn't fucking with me for me. You was fucking with me for the videos.
You in particular, James. You really seems like you're not shying away from the limelight, but you really don't seem like you're chasing it whatsoever.
No, I mean, fame is not something I want. Social media for, people in my position, you should post, pictures of what you're doing to stay, it's the relevancy thing. But yeah, you'll get an occasional picture of my dog. But that's all I'm.
It's your profile picture.
Yeah. Jerry is in the profile, and
I love that his dog has a plumber's name.
Like, what do you want, bro? Like, I mean, but for entertainers and stuff, Calvin just put it perfectly. Like, there's that balance you need to maintain, and anyone I have been preaching, and you've heard it because you've been in my studio for 2 years. Get on TikTok, motherfuckers. Stop avoiding TikTok. I know it's new and whatever. Oh, it's only old people or it's only kids. Guess who has the money and guess who spends the money, okay? Get on fucking TikTok right now. What are you doing? It's social media is essential to everyone in entertainment, regardless of what field it is, especially comics. And like the clips game, dude. Like, I'm cutting clips for people all the time. And it doesn't stop, and they get views, and people want to see that shit. Like, you have to engage.
It's actually fun trying to dial it in and like trying to figure out what your audience is gonna go for.
Yeah.
And when you see something start ticking up, you're like, oh god, how did I
got to talk about this now?
Yeah, it's like hitting like the perfect golf shot. You're like, oh wait, what did I do?
Right.
Just do that over.
Well, the algorithm, who fucking knows what the algorithm's doing?
Yeah.
Like, it's you could, people who say they're experts on the algorithm are lying to you. But there are definitely ways to, manipulate it in your favor. It's just, but you have to keep playing with it, and you have to play with all of them. Instagram and TikTok specifically. I'm a big proponent. Like, make reels. Reels is huge now. Anything that's trying to copy what TikTok is doing, do it. YouTube Shorts, same shit. Do all of that stuff.
Reels. I posted a reel just because of the time that the length of the video that I was posting for my album, and like Instagram will pay me. Like if it hit, like it's like if I hit certain numbers, because I've got paid from Instagram before. It was like, oh, if you go live this many times in this period of time, we'll pay you every time you go live. And I was like, oh shit, okay,
I'll take it.
So yeah, definitely, it's definitely money to be made.
It's a great way to stay independent. You know, in an industry that is very hawkish with your content, independence is
I'm actually
paramount.
reading The Secrets of YouTube, and by reading, I have the audio book, but I definitely plan on buying the book and putting it on my bookshelf to look smarter.
I'll be able to speak to the book.
So I'm listening to this book, but is there any particular? So I'm a fan of reading. Everybody knows the time. Oh, if you want to hide something from, put it in a book or whatever. But is there something about this? You can watch a YouTube and learn how to code and make hundreds of thousands. You can watch a TikTok and learn how to make a meal poorly. But there's something about a book in particular and digesting that information through your eyes, listening to it with your brain, and then figuring it out that way. That just holds true to me, and it sticks. It's probably the stickiest information for me to gather. Was there a book in particular that either one of you have read along your journey in show business that stands out, that you're like, you know, this one made a difference? Like Judy Carter has the comedy Bible, or you know, anything about production or anything in particular?
The book that motivated me, I read. It was like 2 years, 2007, 2008. No, I was out of college. So like 2008, 2009, Bernie Mac had passed away, and I bought his biography, Maybe You Never Cry Again. And that book inspired me because at the time I was just starting out. I was like 24, 25 years old, and I was feeling like, damn, I'm behind the gun, because it's people that have been doing comedy for 4 or 5 years. And I'm watching TV, and they like the top 30 at 30. You know, people like making it.
That'll put the pressure.
And I remember reading that book and just being like, you know, whenever it comes, it's gonna come, but you know, enjoy the journey. So I always read, and his book I used to carry around me everywhere I went. Like it just stayed in my book bag. But I always read biographies of people that I respect, because it's just like, man, this life is a journey. You know what I'm saying? And
I'm actually reading Gary Shandling's biography, and I think Rodney Dangerfield didn't hit his stride till 40. I mean, there's plenty of folks, man.
And it's like you don't. I mean, as when you're young, you think 30s and 40s is old, but it's like, no, that's when all your knowledge like crystallizes, and it's like, all right, now I can put this shit to use. So
6 months ago, I was in my 20s, and I woke up and my knees sound like breakfast cereal, bro. It happened out of nowhere. Like, everybody's going to tell you that, kids, because it's the truth. Yeah. You're 17, 18, 24 now. Tomorrow, you're going to be in your 40s, bro. My bad, you were going to say?
No, and just on age, man. You're only as young as your goals. Like if you don't have no goals, you ain't got shit going on. Age is a burden.
It'll catch up to you.
But when you doing what the fuck you want to do, like you're not even. I don't even think about how old I am. And when I'm around like young people, I'm never like, man, what am I? It's like, no, I'm doing what the fuck I love to do, and I make a living doing it. So fuck it.
There's gas station pills every 3 square miles. Keep you young for real. Did you have a book in particular?
I have too hardcore ADHD to actually sit down and read, but I do listen sometimes, and it's not even related to production or comedy or anything like that. But David Goggins' "Can't Hurt Me" is one of the best books I've ever listened to. The dude had this is a very hard business. Especially stand up, and especially for you guys, it is 1v1 all the time, and you have to learn how to be resilient when you fail, because you will fail constantly. You fail most nights, I feel, especially at first. You're going to fail every night, and even for folks like me, like there's competition out there for me, and I'm trying to learn how to do new things as fast as possible before other people. And I make all kinds of mistakes all the time, and learning.
Forgetting the battery charger.
Forgetting my fucking charger for my camera. And I've been doing this for how long? So, shit happens, but like you have to, in a less resilient me would have broken down and fucking closed up. I fucking suck. You gotta learn how to, pull yourself, I hate using the analogy, but pull yourself up by your bootstraps and fucking try again. And And Can't Hurt Me was such a great. I don't know if you guys know about David Goggins or who he is.
And then he
does.
like damn near washed out of the Navy SEALs like 3 times.
Yeah, 3
has
times.
The world record for pull-ups.
He shits his pants running up mountains all the time. Like he's
Right.
fucking crazy. He's like one of the most motivational people I've ever seen, and he doesn't give a fuck either. He's like he
Not
is
at
the
all.
manliest fucking man I've ever fucking
Are
seen.
we celebrating crazy? Is that what? Is that what
Why
don't you got a shit. Just stop, man. You don't have to. Nobody's timing you, man. Just shit.
Run to the bushes, bro.
Take 5. Shit.
You got 2 socks? Use one of them.
break. But yeah, like that book helped me just kind of, I suffer from like depression and all kinds of stuff. And, but that really helped me put a lot of things in perspective and kind of see how good I have it and how bad it can be. And then I wanted to attack your initial point too of like, oh, you can watch YouTube and learn how to. Well, YouTube is my book, motherfucker. I love YouTube is the greatest invention by human beings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, number 2 search engine on the planet.
Yeah, you go to you can go to school and you can go to art school and give somebody $100,000 and maybe you'll get a low-level job doing bullshit. Or you can use your spare time while you're already making money and watch a YouTube tutorial on something. I learned how to do everything I know from doing it and from YouTube. I didn't go to school for any of this shit.
We were sitting not too long ago. We were sitting at Zany's. I had the chance to sit in on a business meeting that you were having, and then we had a chance to talk briefly. And you were telling me about the moment you were like, "F this! I'm done with working towards this person's dreams, goals, aspirations."
Yeah.
And I think you were saying that you were in a pretty crappy work environment as it was. How did you know? Hey, you know what? This is the time. I'm grabbing it by the horns, and I'm taking off. I'm going to do it on my own.
I mean, it's a complex answer. I'll make it as simple as I can. So it was May of 2019. I had the studio for 2 years. We were doing okay. Every second that I wasn't at my day job, which was a mindless, tedious, a fucking child could do it kind of job, which actually is good if you're trying to do other things. You need your brain power, focus on that. YouTube videos. So, it was May. And I was recording a podcast for these 2 life coaches, Kristen Robinson and Matt Maxwell. If you're still out there doing stuff, fucking keep going. And one of the tangential benefits of producing that show was they would just give me life advice all the time.
Ooh.
And I really do think that without them, I wouldn't have grown the balls to quit my job. But they were telling me, they sat me, the speech they gave me was, okay, so if you don't quit your job and you just stay there, then you're going to be miserable half the time and happy the other half doing what you love. Or worst case scenario, you quit your job and it doesn't go well in the studio and with all these comedy projects, what happens? Well, I guess I could go get a job again. Oh, so you're fine. So then what are you doing? Quit your job and try. So that kind of made me quit my job and then go do it. And at that point, obviously,
You had a structure. You had somewhat of a
structure. I had some savings. The company was a good.
Don't just go out there.
It was a
check
good
to
job.
check.
Yeah, if you're not making rent, like just keep your
Don't
job.
go out there on an EBT card in a
I
prayer.
had a 401k.
Oh
That
no.
was fine.
Oh no. That's what I did. That's exactly what I did.
I was about to ask you when you decided, hey, you know what?
No, I graduated. I just want to make sure James was finished.
No, I mean, just if you have structure, if you have that underlying net, if you have something, some kind of backup in place, take the fucking leap. You would be amazed at how much money you can make doing what you like to do with 40 extra hours a week. Especially if you're motivated and you're not making any money because you have all that free time, go make money doing something cool. If you have the safety net, you have the structure and all that, but there's, free time is a blessing and a curse. But when you're just starting out, it's a blessing. Figure out so many people need help in this town. some people, I could go on. We should go to Calvin.
I truly believe that whatever you're looking for is looking for you, right? And so if you're out there and you're truly, but we were even saying earlier, are there people out there that are truly motivated, truly believe in themselves, and do they fall flat on their face? And a lot of people talk about show business that it's a million no's, but you're just waiting for that one yes. Right? Was that the same case for you when you were going out there?
I mean, I don't want to hog the time a lot anymore, but if I've fallen on my ass again, stand up, that show has died 5 times, and I keep bringing it. We died at the Crocodile when the fucking piece of shit, did that thing to that girl. Then we moved to Whiskey Business, and they kicked us out. Then we moved to Laugh Factory. Curtis, thank you very much for letting us fucking do that. We were Laugh Factory for a year, and then
Laugh Factory.
We decided to go back to the Croc, which is now District, with the new management there because we love that room. We brought it back. It kind of failed again. Then we brought it back one more time at the Croc after it failed with Frankie. Love you, Frank. You're the best. And then it died again. And now we're going to try in Zanies. I fail all the time. Like I said, I fucking fail all the time, but you have to be comfortable failing. And you have to know that what you're doing needs to be important to you. Because if it's not, then it's not going to be important to anybody else. So bring that energy to everything you do, and no matter how many times something dies, eventually you'll figure it out and it'll work, I think.
When did you know it was time to jump off the porch?
Shit, I was working a job. I was working like 60 hours a week for the Boys and Girls Club. I was 23, like 2 years, like 23 and 24. I was like working 7 days a week. And I got the job as an internship, and I really wanted to start doing comedy out of college. And I went to my father. I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to come back to Chicago and do comedy. Like, I literally just graduated. And he was like, and before I left college, I'm not going to even call it a special. I taped the comedy performance. Like, I rented out the cafe at the Union in college. All like 70 people there. And my guy in the back holding a fucking camcorder.
Fuck yeah.
That's powerful to invest it in yourself that early in the game, though. That's powerful.
Cause it was something I really wanted. I was like, I'm leaving. Like, I want to do it was called I Ain't Lying. Calvin Evans, I Ain't Lying. Flyers and shit. People showed up. People was like,
you thought that was going to be the one out the gate?
No, not even.
Bullseye,
Like,
no?
I because I didn't understand what comedy was or how it works. For me, this was just something for me.
Okay.
Like, I feel like everything that I've done, I've always done it for me. It's never been for like, oh, they'll see this. It was just like, this is in me. I have to do this. So I got a job. I told my father I want to be a comedian. He was like, this is a hobby. Like, you just graduated college. All the time you spend this, and that kind of scared me. Like, all right, let me get a job. Got a job out of college. Worked for 2 years. I'm miserable. Like, I'm doing a job that in my mind, like, somebody that's like 30 something years old should be doing this job. This should be their career. I'm good at the job because I work hard at shit and I learn fast. So I'm doing a great job. And I told kids every day, I said, follow your dreams. Whatever you want to do, follow your dreams. You can be anything. And I wasn't taking my own advice that I was giving them. So after the second year, I was like, yeah, I quit. And I moved back in my father's basement. And fucking, I said, I'm going to do everything I can. I promise. Like, I'm not going to get a job. Whatever money I make is going to be from comedy.
Immediately supportive your family, or it took some time?
I kind of finessed my way into that basement. I came back. I was like, I had a car full of shit. It was like a truck full of shit. And we just bringing it. We bringing it in. And this is like, yeah. So what's the plan? Yeah, I'm gonna do comedy, and I'm gonna go. And I just started living there. Like, I didn't grow up in the house of my father, so I moved into his house as a 24, 2010. I was 25, and I moved into his basement, and it was just like, all right, I'm doing. But in my mind, I was like, in order for this to be worthwhile, every time I talked to my father, it was like, oh, I got this new opportunity. Oh, I met this person. Oh, I'm going to be doing this. So it was like the drive was to make sure that I was honoring his ability to allow me to live in his house rent free, bill free. Like, to me, that was the greatest. That was better than somebody giving you like, here's $20,000, go start a business. Right. It was like, no, you gave me the opportunity to live, to be free of responsibility and chase something. And after that, it was just like, whatever I got to do. I got a scholarship to go to Second City, did the conservatory, got, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like being showcase after showcase after showcase, like you saying, failing, where it was just like, I'm not failing. I'm having these experiences, right? It's like walking. Like you fall down. Like, oh, you failed at walking. Like, no, I've never walked before. This is my attempt at doing something I never did before. So it's like every step was like this growth, man. And I mean, like you said, always like having that belief. I turned out I would have been a spokesperson for a bank, and I would have made $250,000 a year. I turned that shit down, and I had nothing, and then turned down 30,000 like right after that, and then the pandemic hit and I was fucking broke. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, because I kept betting on myself, like, nah, this is more money that I've ever made in my life for over a period of time. I probably would have made $1 million, but due to the stipulations, I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it.
The strength that kind of a decision takes is almost, you can't find it anywhere. It's so rare.
It's a similar storyline to some of the most successsul people out there.
Yeah,
the ones that just keep doubling down on themselves.
Well, I really hope I make that money back, because you will. But jokingly, like in order to get the job, they said I had to stop doing stand up.
No,
and at that point, I had been doing stand up for 8 years, and that was the reason they hired me, for my ability to be funny on camera. And I was just like, I'm like, no. Because if this shit fail or this shit doesn't work out, I've lost time in my career in terms of as a stand up. Yeah. And I can, from a business standpoint, I'm a comedian. I can go on stage and say anything, and I'm represent. That's like if Jake from State Farm got on stage and was like, "Man, these hoes crazy," and people like, "That's Jake from State Farm." It's not. Is that Flo? Right, you're saying it's not. He's not who he really is. He's You're the face of something. So I was like, I understood what it was, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I can't stop doing stand up. I put too much time and work into this. Like, no, I thank you, but and it wasn't even like a let me think about it, give me a day. It was just like, okay, no, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And like you're saying, like doubling down, but believing in yourself. Where it's just like, if I can get that, then I'm pretty sure I can get more than that. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It may not be now, but. Yep.
I mean, most people are a 10-year, 12-year, 15-year overnight success, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of outside people looking in might say, well, James is inherently talented behind this, on the camera or whatnot. He was destined to be at the art house over in Wheaton or whatnot. Right. Calvin's been funny since the bathtub. He used to blow bubbles, and that shit was hilarious. And Is talent ingrained in somebody? Is talent born or is it earned?
Yeah, I just got done talking. You go ahead.
A lot of you are not going to like this fucking so there's an equation I like for this, and it changes a lot the more pessimistic or optimistic I am about the industry. Right now, I'm sitting at it is 20% talent, it is 20% hard work, it is 30% who you know and 30% luck, and that makes success, I think. And and to that point, I do believe the hard truth is some people are born special and born with talent. At least on the performer's side.
Sure.
That's
side, 20% of the pie.
Yeah. And my side, everything special about me came from YouTube. You can learn to do everything I'm doing. You have to be motivated and hardworking and all that stuff to make money or be fulfilled or whatever. But you can learn to do everything I've done. I was also we were talking about this earlier. It also helps to be first. So if you are first, you usually win. There are a lot of very talented, inherently talented people who are doing things that I'm doing in the city right now, that will replace me in ways that I can't even imagine when I'm done here or done period, for the betterment of the community and the industry. But then those people were also born with those talents. There's the saying that do you have it?
Right.
And there are people who do have it. Dave Chappelle has it. Mm-hmm. Okay? He was outside performing Washington Square Park when he was fucking 18 years old in the open air. And people would stop and listen to him. Because he has it. He just had it. As a child, he had it. Now, does that mean that you should give up and stop working hard if you don't have it? No. you should do what fulfills you in your role in the industry. And by the way, you should also know your role. That is some of the
fair enough,
and know your place.
That was the great Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Was that?
Shut your mouth.
I think that was him.
Know your role, you Rudy Poos.
Yeah, but knowing your role and knowing your place these are harsh realities here, but the sooner you accept them as facts and tenets of how you operate, the sooner you will find some degree of success. Maybe not in the area you want, like maybe you'll never play Madison Square Garden. Maybe you'll never headline Zanies. But maybe your skills or your knowledge about the industry can help other people do that.
Is now 30% of that pie was luck.
Yeah.
And I've heard it said that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Is that in your mind? Is that what luck is, or is it just dumb? I found $20 on the ground luck.
There's a degree of prep and op, but I don't think it's
right place.
It's right place, right time. And I've been a lot of luck. My luck comes from being first. One of the first guys, and I'm definitely not the first guy ever to do any of this, but like the first guy to have a show with headlining comics in an indie scene after a huge drought of not having that, and then the first guy to make posters for people that people appreciate. These aren't original ideas by any means in the scope of humanity, but I was the first one to do it here, and that's luck. That's definitely luck. But yeah, I think right place, right time is enormous.
Are you born with it, or do you earn it, or is it being born with the workhorse mentality? Is that what it is, or is something else?
Does money count as being born with talent? Does that count as?
That's luck.
Fair enough. But how many people are born with money and then end up trying to get out of their parent's shadow or whatever, and fall flat on their face?
No, absolutely, Marcus Jordan. I feel like everybody is born with something. Everybody has a talent. Okay. I think only the lucky people get to find what that talent is.
Wow. Sure. Okay.
And that's a much better way of saying what I said.
But you see what I'm saying? Like some people, like I see I'm 5'10". I athletically, I was an athlete. Sure. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, like it was like I could jump, I could run. I started dunking the basketball at 15, and then by the time I was like 18, it was like I had like a 40-inch vertical, but I never stepped on I wasn't doing leg presses or nothing. It was just something that I had.
Okay.
Right. But that was just like a God-given gift. And then I feel like for instance, we were talking about like work ethic, all of the things that you described. Like, what's Kevin Hart's gift?
He knows how to talk to people. What's Kevin Hart's gift?
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, his gift is that he outworks everybody.
Oh, if anybody young enough is silly enough to ask me for advice in the comedy game, I'll tell them in a heartbeat, just keep doing it every single day, and you'll be a paid comic. You'll still be shitty, but you'll be a shitty paid comic.
But and that's the same. Like anytime somebody asks me, like, "Oh, well, how did you?" I'm like, for me, very specific to me. Yeah, this was my experiences in that time period that I was doing it. This is what worked for me. But nothing can beat doing it. Like you said, like if James is just like, you can watch all the YouTube videos in the world, but if you don't actually put your hands onto the thing, then it's a waste of time.
Wasting your time.
The YouTube, I learned to play the piano watching YouTube. That's how
That's fucking crazy.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, but nobody, if you just saw me playing a piano, he'd be like, "Oh man, how did you took no, I didn't take lessons."
I thought you would like play it as a kid or
no,
something.
I literally.
It definitely bums me out that he closes out his comedy shows with it. You know how many people are riding the Calvin Evans penis pipe throughout the, and did you know that he closes out with a he's playing he plays drill music on a fucking grand piano at the end of the show. Do you do that, Mike? No.
But that's the thing. I grew up watching Jamie Foxx. To me, Jamie Foxx as a kid was like the most talented
jack of all trades.
He's a Renaissance man too. Yeah.
And I remember
Oscar and a Grammy.
Grammy in a.
Does he have the EGOT or no?
Oscar,
I think he's missing one. Right?
Oscar.
Does he have a Tony?
Emmy. Grammy, Oscar. I don't think he got a Tony.
He doesn't have a Tony yet.
He
I'm
doesn't.
a young Jamie this year.
He doesn't. He doesn't.
You're one of those guys, huh? Google everything.
Podcast
Why
producer,
guess?
man. Come on.
Why guess? Fuck it. It's right there. You sitting there.
Wait a minute.
No, I know. Don't say,
it's,
stop talking. Stop talking. Stop talking. I'm thinking it's right here. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think that was something like I remember when I during the pandemic started learning on YouTube, and I was just like, man, I would love to, because I grew up watching that, and you don't get like, to me, entertainers back in the day, the Sammy Davis Jr.'s, the motherfucking, I can't think of the brothers that used to tap dance, Gregory Hines, like motherfuckers, when you entertain, you sang, you host, you play the instrument, you tap dance, like you knew it wasn't just like, oh, I'm gonna get up here and I'm gonna talk real monotone. It was like, no, give these motherfuckers a show.
Yeah.
So when I started learning it, I was like, my vision was like, man, I'm gonna play the piano, like I'm gonna play the piano on stage. And then again, thank you, Brian Morton. He gave me the late show. I want you to host this late showcase. And I was like, I'm gonna play the piano at the end of the show. And when it started last April, I was fucking horrible. I was nervous. I knew 3 songs, and it was like, all right. And as soon as I fucked up, hey, thank y'all for coming out. Big old ass. Remember the old piano? I used to have. I used to fish the microphone into it so you could hear it. And then before he left, Brian was like, all right, I'm gonna get the new piano. And he put a new piano in and it hooked it to the system. And that shit, like that right there, is like what made me. I only play the piano in Zanies. That's the only time I can play the piano. No other club has it. But even when I'm not even thinking about jokes, I'm thinking about what song I'm looking forward to playing a new song and having a conversation while I'm playing the piano. So it's just like,
in my brain, every comic really wanted to be a musician. Because there's something about music that touches people music touches your soul. Comedy touches your mind.
But this is the thing. I was just talking to somebody. They said most comics play instruments. A lot of comics play instruments. And a lot of musicians are funny. Yeah. And it's all timing. Yeah. It's all it is. It's just timing, like having good timing, like
painting with the same brush but different colors. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If you were able to travel back, and actually this is probably ends up being 2 parts of the same question. What would you say is so far in your journeys the worst thing that you've experienced about the business, and what advice would you give yourself if you could have traveled back 10 years from now?
Well, first, Jamie Foxx needs an Emmy and a Tony. So he has a Grammy and Oscar. And I mean, 10 years, the first thing I would tell myself is to shut the fuck up. Nobody cares about what you think about anything. Just shut the fuck up on social media.
There's some when Facebook says the memories things, I thought I've always been cool my whole life. But Facebook will show me some shit.
The first thing I do every day when I wake up, I click memory. I'm dead serious.
Hey, I do the exact same thing.
And I erase everything.
I leave it. It's some funny shit.
There's a couple things, but I erase all the other shit. But shut the fuck up for sure. And then I don't know, just vet your circles.
Wow.
Here's a hard truth for you that people are probably going to come at me for, but I don't fucking care.
Rebel.
Comedy especially, well, entertainment as a whole, but comedy specifically, I think, is a breeding ground and an attractor of sociopathic narcissists. You're standing on a stage by yourself, trying to get the attention of everybody in the room over the person before you and the person after you, so you can be the best. In a perfect world, stand-up comedy is an egalitarian meritocracy where the best wins always, but that is not the case. And you work with all kinds of people if you make it this far in your career, and a lot of those people are not great people. They will stab you in the back. They'll make shit up about you. They'll, treat you like shit. And not just comics, but like bar managers and fucking, so you really want to, I've been very fortunate to have a good group around me at all times. And I move in and out of groups always. Just kind of the nature of what I'm doing, but I, especially now, every time I, sign a deal with somebody or like am shopping around for new jobs at clubs or whatever, like I always make sure like, hey, what's the deal with these people? And then I ask a bunch of people. Yeah. And then I figure out if the people telling me about these people are worth listening to. And I vet those people. So, don't be too paranoid, but just make sure that the moves you're making are safe for you, and if you decide to make a move that's not 100% in line with your ethos, that it will pay your bills enough to supplement the moral dilemma, but look for an exit.
Not to sidetrack you, but I mean, you're an autodidact. You're a very hands-on kind of guy. So when you are building this team for support, specifically what you got going on with Stand Up, what you got going on in Zanies, how do you start to relinquish control? Like, how do you manage your management?
That's kind of, that's one of my big weaknesses is I don't relinquishing control. And that's something I'm working on, and I have to figure out quickly. But it's kind of like it's like the talent question. It's like, who has it? Who has it? Who's motivated enough to use it? And like I said earlier, we're fortunate enough to have it's an almost uncountable number of great directors and producers that the scene is starting to grow. I could name them all right now, but you'll stop working with me, go work with them instead, and I'll lose money. No, the Stephen Haas's. I don't know if you guys know Stephen Haas.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The fuck he put a video out today. The time travel thing.
Oh, I watched that shit. That shit was fucking
so good, dude.
It's like, damn, like, and how long was the video? Like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes.
Like a movie.
I was like, shit. The production on this is amazing.
So good. Stephen Haas is incredibly talented. He's still young, and he's got a lot of learning to do, buddy. But you're fucking Stephen Haas is, when I was his age, no contest. He'd fucking smoke me.
But I think it's also what he was what was available for him to learn from.
Well, right, and there's the people who pave the road, I guess, and accessibility and all that stuff plays into it and stuff. Like, I fucking work my ass off to get everything I have. Not that he didn't, but it's like but yeah, there's a huge crop of people who are in line to kind of take over, and choosing the right person. It's a very hard process. I don't know. I really don't know the answer to that. Just find what you have to find people's passions.
Or find somebody passionate.
Yeah. And if those two things align well enough, then you can work with them. But again, I'm anal in particular. And I'm also a fucking idiot who forgot again to bring his charger for his camera. But finding someone who can run. I've built a lot of stuff. I hate talking about myself like this, which is why I never do podcasts. So,
fair enough.
But I've built a lot of stuff alone. The studio I built from nothing. With no help in the design or anything, which is fine. That's how I wanted to do it. And then just like stand up I built with a group of people, but I it was me running the show pretty much alone the whole time. No offense, boys, but like, you come on, it's true. So aside from the occasional year or two where I wasn't booking it outright, I was making the posters and running the social media and running all the shit, and pulling yourself completely, like ejecting is from, like, it's like having I don't have any kids yet, but it's like having a fucking baby. It's like doing a special
and sending them to school for the first day.
And okay, I trust your teachers. I don't fucking trust your teachers. Right. But so talking about stand up specifically, the team I have now, a lot of the responsibility is falling on our mutual friend Julia Stoyanova.
Shout out Julia,
whose story is incredible.
Phenomenal story.
First of all, if you're in Chicago and you want to work with
American
somebody,
dream.
It really is fresh off the boat from Bulgaria, a woman in comedy, and she's crushing it. Has her own club. Get the fuck
fresh
out
off the
here.
Plane, the comedy
that's right.
showcase
Fresh
that she
off
has,
the
by the
plane,
way.
the Red Room Comedy Club.
Yeah.
I'm basically giving the show to her to run all of the things I'm doing, because I am kind of too busy to do any of it anymore. I still owe you a fucking poster. I'm sorry, Julie. I'll make it tonight. I swear to God. But like, you know, she has it. Julia has it. And if you are fortunate enough to work with her or someone like her, do it as long as you can. You know, so she's run all the posts you've been seeing on Instagram from her. If you follow Stand Up at Stand Up on all platforms, you should. That's all her. All the email stuff is her. There's so many intricacies, dude. I've been talking forever. I'm sorry.
So what advice are you giving 10 years ago you? What's the worst part about the business as a whole that you've experienced so far?
I wouldn't give myself any advice. I think to get anywhere, like you talk about paving a road, the bad experiences, the good experiences, that's all brick and mortar to get you to where you need to be, and you learn from those experiences. Like you talk about like being depressed and being down, because like you said, this industry is all about people's approval of you. Are you laughing at me? Do you think I'm worthy of to being on your TV show or your special, or even getting booked for a show, or getting fucking Chicago readers Chicago's best comic? You know what I'm saying? Like all those things meant something to me, and every time I didn't get it, it made me that much hungrier for it. You know what I'm saying? Like
if I have a good set and one person in the front 3 rows isn't laughing, that's the only thing I remember.
You see what I'm saying? And it's like, but that right there was like, okay, so the next time I get on stage, I got to make that motherfucker that shows up at shows and don't laugh. I got to get that motherfucker to uncross their arms. Like, okay, all right,
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But so there is no advice, because I feel like any advice that I would give myself would hinder me from becoming, to get me where I need to be. We talk about time travel. It's like I'm gonna alter that timeline. You know what I'm saying? It may be in my favor, or it may take me way off my course. But where I'm at, I feel like it's straight down the middle. So yeah, there's no advice that I would think to give myself. Even like the shit I really fucked up on in my personal relationships with people. It's just like, you know what? Learn from it. Grow. Learn how to apologize.
You're out in Hollywood. You're on TV. You're in marketing. You have your own clothing line. You have comedy specials out. You've tapped in on basically every platform when it comes to show business in varying degrees. What's the ugly side of the business somebody might not be prepared for when they come into this game all piss and vinegar? Like, I'm funny. And I'm gonna make people laugh. And this is gonna be the greatest thing.
You're not guaranteed to make it. That's a harsh reality that I had to accept when the pandemic happened, when I went to LA and I wasn't doing any comedy. And like I told you, like that year I went to LA, I turned down a lot of money betting on myself. Like, I'm finna go to LA, it's pilot season, I'm gonna book something, and everything will be gravy after that. Cause I'm coming off doing JFL. I got a little buzz around my name. I did I had like a few TV spots, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like I got kind of like this great, I'm like kind of got a little heat around me, so I'm going to LA, and then for a whole year and a half, everything, there was nothing, nothing was working, and then I broke my leg. So playing basketball, the one thing, like basketball, growing up, that was my escape. I'm gonna go play basketball, right. and then now I can't play basketball. I'm not on stage. I have no means to make money because I'm
everybody's looking at you, a big shiny, think you're at the pinnacle, and you were sitting there.
You see what I'm saying? Like, and,
wow.
and I'm like really trying to figure out life. So it's like, the reality of all entertainment is you're not guaranteed to make it. We all know somebody that rap. We all know people in comedy. Yeah. We know people in comedy that have been in the same place in comedy, and it's like. But for me, every day I wake up, I'm like, each year it's like, okay, what do I want to do this year, and what do I have to do to get to that space?
Wow.
It was when we were talking about jokes notes. It was just fun back then. 2010, 2012, hanging out, just being out around comedy. It energized me. I woke up every night. Oh, we gonna be at a Sean Monroe spot on Monday. Then we gonna go to Jokes and Notes on Wednesday, and then we gonna go by. So it was like that. That was fun. And then it got to a point where it was just like, hey, I'm kind of running in place here. Like, I know I'm getting better at comedy, but no, I want to be working at. I want to work Zanies. I want to be at the Laugh Factory. I want to be on TV. How do you get on TV? All, you know what I'm saying? So trying to figure out how to get to these places. So the ugly side is that you may not get to the place that you want to. That's it. That's all. Like I see, and that's why, like, over time I just stopped hanging out with comedy, because it's like I start seeing people that would complacent or fine just being like, oh, it's cool. I just hang out at comedy. Like, you hear at a comedy show, you not trying to get on stage. You just hanging out. like it's one thing if you go in with the intention of like, all right, I need to figure out how to get on the show. But if you just going out every night hanging out, it's like, okay, I'm not hanging out no more. I'm going to get on stage and I'm gonna go home because I'm thinking about what's the next move because I don't want to be in the same place, next year. So that was my realization. But it's even with all that I have done, and I really don't take a stock of what I've done, and I never really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, all right, come on, what's the next thing? But there's a possibility this might be it. You know what I'm saying? I'll never I want to be on TV. I want to be in movies. Like I see myself way further, and successful. But if not, then shit. I need to start working on the family. You know what I'm saying? Like I need
from funny business to a business that's funny.
You see what I'm saying? Because it's like, man, I envy in all my college friends. Like I'll wake up and like they like, man, yo, I saw you. What you doing? Man, you doing amazing. I'm like, yo, you have a family. Right. You have a kid. You have a wife. Man, you have an infrastructure, a home life. And I've been on this fucking journey by myself. Just But to you like, man, you living a life, man. I saw you on TV.
Always greener, dude.
I saw that thing you doing, and I'm just like, man, I want that too. You know what I'm saying? So trying to manage like a personal life and a professional life is like that shit is hard because people don't always understand it.
That's dope. I could talk to these guys for the next day and a half and continue to give y'all game. What more do you want from me, people? Please make sure you're going out there supporting the crib. That's merchandise for Calvin Evans. He's rocking with. Is that New Era product?
ChicagoTheCrib.com. The hats are the I can't think of the brand of the. They don't make New Era. They don't make the New Era beanies in the colors that I want. So it's just like I can't remember the brand.
Still,
all the hats, New Era.
Super official. I'm getting down with the merch. Make sure you're going out there supporting Born, the comedy special on all of your platforms.
Stands for best out right now.
Yeah, it's fucking sick.
I was definitely gonna ask you that, and I forgot. I had it written down on my thing. So best out right now. It's out right now. Make sure you're supporting the cow. Just follow him on Facebook. I ain't got to tell you. He's got way more followers than me, so forget him. But make sure you're out here supporting Calvin Evans. He's hot in my eyes, number one on the stage Chicago comedy scene, which is the dojo for all things comedy in the world, right? James Webb, make sure you're supporting stand up.
Please, God.
Make sure you're out there supporting Zanies. Both these guys are out there. Make sure you're supporting Chicago.
Real quick, what's I can't think. What's your company
name?
What's the company name?
The company is Put 'em Over Productions, and the podcast network is People of Comedy.
People of Comedy. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Make sure you're not supporting New York because he talks a lot of shit about Chicago being the place that he knows and loves. He's on a flight to Brooklyn.
I'm not allowed to get on a fucking plane anymore. For God's sake.
But no, you know what? Because you did the stuff for the other club for
New York Comedy Club. Yeah, I installed the cameras in there.
That's fucking amazing, man.
Whose special did you just end up? Is that Tommy?
Special. I'm so sorry if I'm forgetting. I'm doing too many of them.
Hey, all specials ain't special.
Oh, wow.
I didn't say that.
I said that.
Calvin said that.
I said that. All specials not special.
No, when Amazon Prime said you could just post anything you want on there and it doesn't have to go through anything official.
Right.
No, but I wasn't speaking to you about the person, but I was just saying that's just my thought on specials right now. On camera, real quick, I just want to thank James. He produced, I did 4 half-hour specials in the night, and this motherfucker, when I say he was on the camera, like fucking the bang, he had the bang.
You saw the picture. He's got the picture of it.
Yeah, no, I was there, but he had. I remember he walked in. I was like, "Oh shit! Oh yes, you think the camera's your ally?"
I was born with the camera.
Right. My back hurts so much still from that night. Oh
but God. No, man. I just want to say on camera, thank you for all the work that you put in, and even you speaking on like not having all of the knowledge all the time, but I do remember them early days when we were doing the first Zany show, whatever it was you like, no, I got to figure this out, and like literally like it'd be time where he just be like, fuck, no, I'm just really I don't know what I need to do, but I know some, and always like figuring out what the thing is to make the shit go. You know what I'm saying? So thank you, man. I appreciate you for that.
It's an honor and a pleasure, dude.
I'd like to personally thank on camera both of these gentlemen for real.
Of course.
Because if you can't get it from what they just got done saying, I ain't got nothing for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, follow Stand Up, by the way, on all social media. Can I plug my shit real quick?
Could you please plug your
Follow Stand Up at Stand Up. On Instagram is where we do most of our posts. I'm going to make a TikTok and throw it to Julia. Sorry, Julia, to run. It'll be at Stand Up on TikTok as well. And then, be on the lookout for Pat Tomasulo's special. We're shopping it around right now, but it's, you make a lot of stuff, and if you don't hate everything you make, are you really an artist? This is one of the first things that I didn't hate that I made.
Dope. Awesome.
So get fucking, and your special as well. It's something I'm very, very fucking proud of.
Oh man.
Dope. Anything else you need to promote?
Just man, follow me on social media. Just follow me at Calvin Evans Comedy. Whatever I got going on, I'll put it there.
Funk Flex Hot 99. You see what it is. Not everybody can come up here and drop bars. Hey, it's Mike Knight. Follow me on all platforms at Mike Knight Comedy. Personally, like to thank both these guys. They didn't have to be here. They chose to be here. Can't thank them enough, man. Real Rap Podcast. Love y'all. I'm out.
Peace. Mike, you straight from the south side. Mike, I'm just so happy to be here right now. Real Rap Podcast.